Man, with all of the exposure that's coming in light today of things that happened back in the 80s and early 90s, we saw Puff Daddy, we saw Bill Cosby. I mean, some of the white comedians and white actors. There's so many people being exposed for things that happened in the past. Well, it would be fitting, quite fitting, that the coochie man himself, right, would be in trouble. We talking about Luke Skywalker. Don't stop, get it, don't stop. Right, you know, all that stuff back in the day when your mom was twerking on box Chevys and all that kind of stuff, right? To shake something, me so horny, pop that coochie, all that kind of stuff was going on. Yeah. Your mom was she was at them pool parties. That's how you got here. Yes, it was going on like that. Yes, right, definitely. So he's being called out. He's being called out now by Gloria Valdez. She called him out some time, and she said that he was the #1 groomer. He was the one that had all the stuff popping in the industry. He was grooming all kinds of young people, right? And he should be held accountable. Well, she went on to Vlad and did a Vlad interview and starts bringing this back up and speaking on this, right? So now Luke, he turned his aim towards Vlad and said that Vlad paid her to come on his show and say all this stuff. So he came back and responded and said this.
What you think about somebody on Vlad TV? I don't listen to nothing nobody on Vlad TV got to say. I don't like Vlad TV. Don't care about Vlad TV. It's a white boy. All he does is pay off broke rappers and hoes money to lie about people who are successful. He never goes and get no white boys and put them on his show. Typical white boy. I want to say another word, but I ain't gonna say that. Profiting off of black people by having people lie about people on there. Call you up, give you $2,000, $5,000 because you desperate, because you broke. They go do the interview with him and they say basically whatever he wants them to say. I don't f with no Vlad TV. Period. And if y'all f with him, then y'all just looking for entertainment, I guess. You're a pain freak to listen to that shit. I don't listen to that shit. So I don't know what nobody said on there. Have no idea, don't care what nobody said. If anybody said anything they want to say something to me, say it to me to my face. I'm 6'3", I'm in shape, I weigh 232, down from 269. I still got a mean fight game, but half of you can't slap the shit out of nobody these days because they're going to go try to sue you. Meanwhile, back at the ranch.
Now, you have a lot of women coming out and calling these behaviors out of things that's been going on in the industry for some time now. Now, she posted, y'all remember she posted this a while back? If you think grooming is if you don't think grooming is happening in this business, you're sadly mistaken. It started in 1994 with Luke and a few others in this business. And she's showing an image of her when she was in high school, right? And she wrote this in the book. She talked about Luke. She talked about Aaron Hall. Now, she was 14. I'm asking, where was the parents? Now, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to say something that's unsettling and uncomfortable. But 30 years ago, 35, 40 years ago was a different world, right? 16, 17-year-olds to be with 25, 26-year-olds was like normal, right? When I was in high school and the girl I liked, it wasn't nothing for a 23, 24-year-old to come pick her up in his Lexus or his Benz, right? And they drive off and they be in whole relationships together, get married, right? The world, we can't look at the world of 1994, early 90s, late 80s through a 2025 lens. You can't. Some of your dads was like 6, 7 years older than your mom. That's just the way it was. I'm not saying that it's right. I'm just telling you what it was. Right? Let's take the emotion out and look at things for what it is so we can address them going forward. Right? This is the way it was. Right? So she's been blowing the whistle and calling these guys out for some time now. So when she's on Vlad, she's saying this.
Oh, now you're doing stuff with DJ Laz.
Yes.
Did you meet Luke around this time?
He introduced me to Luke.
Okay.
Yes.
So Uncle Luke, the founder of the 2 Live Crew.
Mm-hmm.
And this is essentially the biggest hip hop figure in Florida during this time.
Yes, he was.
That was bigger than just the music.
Right.
So this is the biggest entity really almost anywhere at that point, and you start going on tour with them.
Right, because they were beyond raunchy.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Right.
So you were a backup dancer, a Two Live Crew
Yes.
backup dancer while they were touring.
Yes.
In Florida or other states as well?
Florida and other states.
Wow. And you were how old?
14, I started.
14. You were going
Yes.
interstate.
Yes. Laz and other artists as well.
To shake your ass on stage.
Yes.
In front of 21 and older clubs.
Yeah.
Or 18 and over, I guess,
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah.
But definitely not teenage clubs. Two Live Crew does not make teenage music.
No, they don't make teenage music,
Yeah.
but they did perform at teenage clubs. They did. That's how I met them.
Oh.
So a lot of these artists I met in a teenage club, they performed for us. Actually, in the beginning, everybody was nice. You know, everybody was sweet until it wasn't.
Now, I'm confused and I'm scratching my head before we go any further. Where was her parents? Why weren't they arrested? She was 14 years old, traveling the country with some grown men. This is what she's alleging. She was 14 years old, traveling in the United States of America with, at that time, now let's go back to that time, because some of y'all wasn't born. Some Uncle George is going to take you back. This is a time when the Two Live Crew was like one of the biggest groups in the world. And they was under heavy scrutiny, right? They had to go to court. You had all kinds of people calling them out. See, Dolores Tucker was calling them out. They was the ones, when you see those when they used to have the album covers and the CDs, they would put the disclaimer on there. They put that on there because of Two Live Crew. When they had Me So Horny, that video, when they came out with Pop That Coochie inside the house and they had all the women in thong bikinis dancing and naked, and they had the mega mix version, right? They was under all kinds of scrutiny. Everybody understood what Two Live Crew was at the time when, right, they came out before their time, right? So you mean to tell me, with all that they had going on, right, and all the stuff that they was talking about in their lyrics, right, back then, right? You think what these girls and these people talk about now in music, Two Live Crew was the epitome of it, right? It was a 14-year-old girl on tour with them, and nobody said anything. Come on, man, who you like? Seriously, where's the parents? So she goes on to tell stories about how she was taken advantage of physically, sexually, many times, and she went to Uncle Luke, and he did nothing about it. This famous NFL player did something to her, and she was paid off to be quiet about it. She's on Vlad saying this stuff. Check it out.
First incident, I was on tour with DJ Jealous J, and now he's the producer that did the Lollipop.
Okay.
So he was very respectful. He always looked out for me. I was 14, and he made sure that I was good, like nobody harassed me. So we went down to the Keys, the Florida Keys. He had a show, and Luke, everybody was performing. It was a big show. And Luke had a party, the after party, and we all went, you know. I had boys protect me and watch over me. There was a new athlete that just got a major deal, football player. And he kept flirting, and they kept saying, she's 14, yo. She's 14. Like, chill. You know, they kept telling him that. So I'm very quiet and just, you know, I'm used to just, okay, you know what I mean? Just so I won't offend anybody or not raise my voice because I saw how aggressive they are to other women. So, you know, he's like, let's talk upstairs. And he was very persistent. And I was like, he was like, just talk. It's so loud, the music. And I went ignorantly. And we were upstairs, and, you know, he tried to beat me, and I told him, no, I want to leave. And he threw money at me and about how much, and kept throwing money at me. So I just said no, like I said no. And we went back and forth, and he just jumped on me. He's a football player. He was big, you know? And I just started screaming, even though there was so much noise, like so much music. But thank God my peoples heard me, and then they bust in and they started, she's underage, what are you doing, you know? And he acted like he didn't care. You know, like he was above the law, that he was famous and rich. And they called me many a times when I got home, like, how much do you need to be quiet? I said, but nothing happened. He goes, yeah, but something did happen. But even though it didn't go all the way. But I didn't take any money. And I just said, I'll be silent. I won't say anything.
Well, Luke was one of those people that called you?
Yes.
Okay. How much did they offer you?
A lot of money. Because he just got a major deal, a football contract. You know, later on, I saw him a few times. I didn't say anything. And then as I got older, like in my late 20s, he apologized. I never saw that he ever raped anybody. He did well in his career, very, very well. You know, he tried to even flirt. I was like, that's not going to happen. You know, I thought that was weird.
And see, me at my age, I was around at that time. I was a young adult during those days. And those days were something to remember, right? It's a totally different world than the world that we're in now. It's not something that I think is funny. There's a lot of bad things that went on, especially in the hyper-masculine era. When you see this feminism stuff, I did a video some years ago where I talked about the way that the W woman got up and got a leg up in society was she had to put her legs up. I did a video about 6-7 years ago. The way she got a leg up in society was she had to put her legs up, right? So it's not just in the black community. It started in the W man's culture, right? When you see the secretary with the with the boobs out and the tight dress and things that she had to do walking around the office every day to appease that W man, the boss, and all that kind of stuff. There was a lot of bad things that happened. So when you see this feminism and the Me Too and the women, there's a lot of truth to that. I'm not going to be a hypocrite because, like I said, I love my people. There's a lot of stuff, and there's a lot of fraudulent stuff that's going on as well. But it don't come from nowhere, right? There's a lot of bad dudes, man, back then, man, and there's a lot of things that happen to a lot of women that women don't talk about. So I'm not going to sit here and be a hypocrite and don't tell the truth, right? But this is the thing. Where was her parents? How are you 14 years old, that vulnerable like that, on tour with these freaking men, right? And you don't have nobody there to protect you. I don't care what era we in. I wouldn't trust my foot around no men. Like it's crazy, but Luke, he talked about this in the past, right? He talked about this in the past, and I don't know. Let's just look at what he had to say about this.
I just learned what the grooming mean. I don't even know what grooming mean. Grooming. They had to explain. I got the right one. I don't have no problem going to court. I'm not Russell Simmons. I'm not them other people. I don't do that. I know my brand. My brand is Luke. Hey, we want some face down up. That's what like me so horny. The problem is when you know your brand and you know what you're singing about, you subject yourself to be in that kind of trap faster. So what you have to do is really not be about what those songs is talking about, because you can get yourself jammed up. I video everything. Everybody sign releases. I do shows. Ain't no underage people be doing no show with me. I fire girls. You get caught, I have chaperone for the girls, a one-head dancer. It's always one-head dancer. And she put everybody in check. So if you're doing, this is not a traveling whorehouse. So you gonna mess around with these other artists, you're gonna get sent home, sweetheart. You get fired.
So again, this is a girl in middle school, right? On tour. Now, again, Uncle George is taking you back. I want you guys to do not look at this through a 2025 lens. You can't. This ain't the same world. I didn't grow up in my formative years in the world that we in today. I grew up in the world back in the day, where we did a lot of things that we might not be proud of, and a lot of women did things that they wasn't proud of. Right? It was just it was a different time. It's a different time. So you got this middle-aged girl that's in middle school on tour with the group, mind you, they like the only group in the world that's talking like this. So everybody knows who they are. They're very polarizing. They're under the microscope. And you gonna tell me you got a girl in middle school on tour with you and nobody said anything? My only defense of Luke is with the type of music that he produced, right? He don't have a whole plethora of girls coming out against him like these other guys. I haven't looked around and seen like so many different women because he's toured for years all over the world in many different cities and countries and had all kinds of women come after him, right? Women coming for him, and I haven't seen him and like under a lot of scrutiny from women. I haven't seen it, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. But I just know that in that type of profession, every city you go to, you got women waiting for you with thongs on, ready to move them to the side and get busy just because of who you are. Man, you're young. That temptation is a mother, man. That temptation is serious. Especially when you got some of the most beautiful women the eyes can see. And you know, with men, we go by beauty. You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy. I don't know if she's telling the 100% truth, but one thing that we know we can document is she was underage on that tour. When they talk about grooming, that has to go his way. But also the parents, where's the father? Where's the mother? Where was the police at? All this, everybody failed. If you had them, when they had that Me So Horny video out and Pop That Coochie and all those songs in the 80s, Move Something, right? Then going into the 90s, at that time, when he had Pop, Don't Stop, Pop That, Let Me See You, Doodle Brown. I think that was around the time, 94, when that came out, right? So you mean to tell me he's touring, doing that with a middle school girl on tour with him? Come on, man. Come on, man. I think before you even go to him, you got to go to the parents. Find out what was up with the parents. What was up with her background? Where was she coming from, man? Was she an immigrant that just came straight over here? Like, what the hell? I don't know, man. But she's telling her story. Let me know what you guys think about this, right? Because, like I said, but I'm telling for all people, don't look at this through a 2025 lens because that's not the world that we lived in. Because I'm gonna say this, and it's gonna be controversial because I know a lot of women are emotional, and I say this: if you judge everything through a 2025 lens, a lot of men might be in trouble. Your father, me, everybody, we all might be in trouble for certain things that we might have been a part of or did or whatever. We live in a different world, a different time, in the way that we interacted with each other as well, right? Now, I ain't never physically took nothing from some woman against her will like that with her crying or touch no children, right? Nah, like to me, that's death. The punishment is unaliving you, right? But what I'm saying is the way we interacted with each other, men and women, was different than today. Totally different. It's a different world. The way women responded to men was different. So you can't look at things through a 2025 lens for 30, 35 years ago. It's just a different world. I grew up in a totally different world in the way when I first met my wife and the way that I interacted with my wife and the way my wife interacted with me, right? So that's all I wanted to say. But if you made it this far in the video, hit that like button, subscribe to Street Media TV, leave your comments in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think. Remember, I love y'all. Till the next time. Peace.